Okay, well today we are measuring, and we're measuring with the American Standard, which is fractions. If I remember back, 8th grade math, I think this is where I learned my fractions. I didn't think it was important at the time, and then as I got into high school woodshop and construction, it was like, this stuff's easy, and it all adds up and makes sense. So I do this every year, and as students come in, it seems like some of them have a grasp for it, no problem. Some generally will get it by the end of the year, and unfortunately, there's a few that just aren't able to measure at the end of the year, which is sort of a sad thing. But it is important as far as being successful, and that if you're, say, building a home, you got to be accurate, at least within sixteenths or less. And if you're building furniture or cabinetry, you probably better be able to measure within 30 seconds and accurately cut within 30 seconds. So again, it is important. I have laid out some tools here for you, and not that we're going to cover all these tools, but these are the devices used generally for measurement and things that we would be using in the shop. Well, I wanted to just try to emphasize the importance of measurement, and what you're looking at is a frame or some trim pieces that are going to hold some glass into a door. And so, making these look right in the finished product, measurement is so important. First, we had to measure the opening, and then we had to cut the material to fit the opening. So it's kind of measuring, one thing to fit the other. And again, in finished carpentry, tolerances are very slim, very small. Maybe 1/64th or so, which is about the thickness of a pencil line. Okay, this is where those trim pieces go, and they need to be tight and no gaps and perfectly measured. Because again, in finished carpentry, you generally are very small tolerances. So as these pieces go in here, they need to be snug and very accurate in length. Well, every year when I cover measurement, I will generally bring up pizza, and that is because your basic pizza will come in 8 slices for a whole pizza. And so when we deal with measurement, we have 1/8 of an inch, which is 1/8. And if we had 8/8, which would be one whole number, we'd have one full pizza. But you're seeing me slice it up here. I'm going to slice this one into 8ths. And probably the best part about this demonstration is at the end, we get to eat our props. And this one looks like a 3 meat, fresh out of the oven. And so keeping things nice and tight so I get even fractions there. And so, yeah, we're going to show you how to measure while we enjoy pizza. Well, this one I've cut into 16ths, and sometimes we measure in 16ths as well. Well, we've got our Hawaiian here. I've got it sliced into 8ths. And if you could consider this 8 pieces and 1 whole pizza or 1 whole inch. If I was to slice it in half, you can see I got half a pizza. 4/8, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so 4/8 is also known as 1/2. Generally about what I eat on an average. If I were to separate it out like this, I've got 3/4 of a pizza. I've got 6/8. So 6/8 reduces out to 3/4. Kind of nicely. That's a heavy eating night there. And generally I like to save a couple pieces for dessert. So again, as we take these out, you're going to see there's 1/8 removed, 2/8, which is also known as a quarter. You can see the quarter of the pizza. If I take 3 pieces out, we got 3/8. 3/8, 4/8, which I've already talked to you about is, half of a pizza. 5/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty simple. Getting full now. Don't let that little piece of pineapple get away. 6/8. We always want to reduce those out. So 6/8 is also known as 3/4. 7/8. Yep, 7/8, which is 1/8 shy of a whole. Obviously, here's our last eighth, 8/8 or 1. Couldn't resist. Okay, here we have our 3 meat. And I've got this one cut into all these small pieces. These are 16ths. These are there's 16 pieces on here making up 1 whole pizza. And the relevancy is on our ruler. Each one of these little lines here, so I can get out of there, is 1/16. And so if I count within this scale here, how many of those little lines there are within an inch, there will be 16 of them. So that's the relevance of the pizza in relation to the scale or the ruler here. So very much the same as the last time. I mean, if I just divide this in half, I got 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces and a half. 8/16 is a half if you reduce it out. To reduce it out is simple. You just start dividing both the top and the bottom number by 2, so you can't do that anymore. If I were to do 3/4, 3/4 is going to be 12 pieces over 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces in 3/4. 12/16 is reduced out at 3/4, leaving me a quarter, or 4 pieces. And so, if I start removing these like I did last time we're losing some salami there. We got a 16th removed. So now what we'd have left, 15/16, because there's 15 pieces here left. If I remove 2/16, it's also known as an 1/8. If we reduce 2/16 dividing by 2. 3/16. That can't be reduced. But yeah, that's 3 pieces gone. All right. 4/16, which is a quarter. We've got a quarter removed. 3/4 still to eat. Looking good. 5/16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, another piece of sausage there. 6/16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 3/8. If we were to reduce that out, we've eaten 3/8 there. 7/16. Can't be reduced. All right. 8/16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're halfway. There's a half. 8/16. Half to go. Better get get another refill on my soda. 9/16. 10/16, which is also 5/8. 11/16. 12/16, which means that we're now again 3/4, right? 12/16 reduced is 3/4. Got 1/4 still to go. 13/16, getting full. 14/16, which is really 7/8. If you reduce 14/16, dividing by 2, you get 7/8. 15/16, got one last piece to go here. Probably save that for dessert or maybe breakfast. All right. And so, yeah, it's quite simple. I know these pieces are small. Sometimes you go to the buffet and they give you these little 1/16 inch pieces, but generally you're going to find a pizza with 8 pieces and 8ths. But hope this helps. It's definitely helped me. Okay, on the whiteboard we've got parts of an inch, and this is from 0 to 1. That's just 1 inch. We've got it broken up into 8ths. We've looked at how you reduce things to their lowest form here. We've got your red color is in 8ths. We've got your green in quarters, and the black is whole number in half. And so as you read along your scale, you're going to notice these lines change in length. As the increments get smaller, the line gets shorter. Okay. And we've got our tape measure here. Depending on what you're using, you might find different number of tick marks within an inch. So if you're ever unsure, just count within an inch how many marks are there. And I've counted 16 within an inch, so our bottom number is going to be 1/16. Okay. As we measure our material, and when you read plans, they're going to ask for the thickness, which is between my fingers here. They're going to ask for the width, and then they're going to ask third for the length. So again, anytime you're building something and they give you a measurement, they're talking about thickness, width, length. Okay. And so in looking at our ruler or our scale or our tape measure, whatever we're using, again, here was my thickness. And so I can show that a little better. So we've got one whole number. So we've got 1 inch and 1 tick mark. So we've got 1 and 1/16 on the thickness. If we look at the width, we've got a whole number of 2 and 2 tick marks. So that means we have 2 and 2/16. All right. Better known as 1/8 when you reduce it out. Okay, and that's the width. On the length, we have a whole number of 10, and then we have 14/16. Okay, 10, 14/16 reduces to 10 and 7/8, and that's on your length. So again, thickness, we're seeing 1 and 1/16. Width, 2 and 1/8, and length 10 and 7/8. So again, it seems kind of overwhelming, but it's really easy stuff. And in order to be good at this, we have to learn how to measure, and it may take some practice, but we'll get there.